my Fitness 101 series. I probably won't count anymore after this because that gets a little annoying. But today's video is going to be all about lifting weights and the type of lifting you should do to get the results that you want. So just lifting weights is not one broad exercise category. If you were to walk in to see a personal trainer, they wouldn't just say the same thing for every person. The way that you lift, the amount that you lift, changes based on what your goals are and also based on what point in your program you're in. I was gonna say I have notes on this, but I don't because I know it so well. So this is actually something that I'm very passionate about. Again, if you guys do not know, I'm an athletic trainer, and so something that we do a lot is not only create programs for people, but create programs and modify them based on the athlete's needs, based on the time of year they're in, based on what they're doing at that time. So football players that are in season lift totally different than football players that are out of season, and football players in general lift different than softball players, lift different than bodybuilders. So depending on your goals and when you're lifting, it totally changes the way you're lifting. There are three main types of programming or lifting weights that you can do. The first one is endurance, and that is lifting weights to increase your endurance, to increase how long you can lift weights for. Just like when you're running, say you take two runners, you have a marathon runner who runs a long time, but they run a little bit slower. It's lower intensity, but it's a lot longer, versus a sprinter who runs way shorter, but they run a lot quicker and it's a lot more intense. And they both may be doing the same amount of work, it's just a different kind of work. That's how lifting is. So endurance lifting is going to be less intensity but longer duration. And then the next step up is hypertrophy lifting. This is the lifting where you're going to gain muscle mass. You're going to actually break down your muscles and cause them to increase in size. And that's kind of somewhere in the middle, maybe like a 400 if we're still talking sprinting, or an 800. Then the third one is strength. So this is going to be the 100-meter sprinters. This is going to be very, very intense lifting, but shorter amounts of time. This is where you're actually working to increase the strength of your muscles, lift more, increase your 1 rep max, and just get stronger. So those are the three basic types. Now, how do you do that? Or what is it for? If you are looking for lean muscle mass, and I say that like this because depending on who you are, you're just going to build muscle differently. I don't build lean muscle easily. I build big muscle. That's why my arms are bigger. So you could take two people who are lifting the exact same way, eating the same diet, and some people will just have fuller muscles because that's the type of muscle that they have. But in general, if you want lean muscle mass, you're going to do the endurance type lifting. So this is where you're lifting high reps, lower weight. This is what generally people prescribe to females that just want to tone up. High reps, low weight. Anytime you're working out and lifting weights, you always want your last 2 or 3 reps to be difficult. Otherwise, you're not doing anything. Like, yes, I can raise my arms 30 times and it's easy. I'm not doing anything to my muscles. Eventually, if I do it enough times, it'll get fatigued. But you want the last couple reps for any of these to be difficult. It doesn't have to be impossible, but you want them to be difficult because your body doesn't change unless you make it uncomfortable. Just like a human being, sometimes you have to go out of your comfort zone to change. Same thing with your body. The overloading principle, you have to make your muscles do more than they can, so then you break down the muscle and build more muscle. Same kind of thing. You don't change unless you do something you're not used to. So the last couple reps have to be difficult. So if you want toned muscles, you just want to gain lean muscle mass, endurance lifting, 12 to 20 reps anywhere in there, short rest times in between, that's where you want to stick. Kind of. That kind of lifting is also good for when you're starting a program because your joints and your muscles are all kind of weak, and that's where you want to start, kind of teach your body how to lift. It's the easiest on your joints, it's the least stress on your body in general. And so that's where you want to start if you're starting off a program. When I haven't been lifting in a while, that's where I start, just because my muscles aren't as strong as they used to be. And it's just a good way to get your body back into lifting. It's also a good way to start a program even if you want to increase strength, because it allows you to kind of see where you are And you do need muscle endurance even if you want to be a different kind of athlete. So the second type, or hypertrophy, is what a lot of bodybuilders do. And this is where you're actually going to grow the size of your muscle. You're not necessarily increasing strength in the same way as strength lifting, but all of these are going to increase your strength. You're going to increase your weight, but it's not the type of like serious strength lifting. This is going to be anywhere from 8 to 12 or 6 to 12 reps. You're going to be lifting, again, higher weights because you are doing less reps, and you want those last couple reps to be difficult. For me, if I'm lifting 10 reps of a lat pull down, it'll be about 80 pounds. A lot of times when you're lifting, it'll be in ranges, so that say the first set you do 80 pounds and 12 is really easy. The next set, you might be squeezing out that last like 1 or 2, and then the third set you can only do 10. That's why they do a range. It's more important to burn out and like have the last ones be difficult than it is to do the same number of reps. So hypertrophy training, this is where you're going to break down the muscle and actually cause it to grow in size. You're going to do 6, 8 to 12 reps, nothing above 12, and you're going to do heavier weight, so it'll be more at like 75% of your max, 75 to 85% of your max, whereas the endurance training was more like 50 to 60%. This is going to be really good for in-season training. You're not maxing out your joints. It's still better for your joints than straight up strength training is. This will be kind of like the middle and end of your workout session or your workout program. So if you're doing a 4-month program, this would be like months 2 and 4. And again, it's good for building strength. Like I said, bodybuilders kind of stay in this rep range because it does build strength, and you can do anywhere from 3 to 4 to 5 sets with this. And then the third type of lifting is strength lifting, and this is something that most people don't recommend doing it by itself or for a prolonged period of time because it is so hard on your body and hard on your joints that your body needs a break from it. For strength training, you're doing 3 to 5 reps, and this is going to be at like 85 to 90% of your max. You're lifting a lot of weight, but you're giving your body a lot of rest in between. So say I was going to go into the gym and I was like, today I want to do my squat strength training. I'm going to do probably 4 to 6 reps of the most weight I can possibly squat 4 times. And then I'm going to wait like 3 minutes. You're doing as much work as your body can possibly do, but then your body needs time to rest and recuperate, and I could explain that all, but it would take forever. Your body has like a latency period where your energy burning system literally can't function as well. So you have to let it rest, and then you'll do it again. This is going to build up strength. This is where you're going to see like serious improvements in how much you can lift, but it's very difficult on the body, and you really want to do this and increase your strength and then go back to hypertrophy training and really go back to that, because you'll still increase strength, but it's easier on your body. So the moral of the story is you really want to do all 3 at some point in your program, but you can kind of focus on one or the other based on what your needs are. Really, if you are your average person and you're not trying to seriously gain strength, you don't ever have to do strength training. Like I said, you kind of want to start with endurance training and then move into hypertrophy training, maybe add a couple strength training periods in there. The way that lifting is, or working out in general, is organized is through periodization. So you're doing periods of lifting, and within that you're doing cycles. So if I were to design, say, a 3-month program, the first 2 weeks probably would be endurance training, higher reps, lower weights, to get your body used to the program. Then you're going to go into hypertrophy training, or just, it's pretty much just like general lifting to get bigger muscles and get a little bit stronger. Then you're going to do that for, say, a month and a half. Then you're going to do 2 weeks of strength training, where you're going to do a different muscle group every day in the gym. You'll do very low rep, high weight lifting, increase your strength, and then the last 2 weeks you'll go back to hypertrophy training. That's just a general breakdown of straight up, pretty much like weightlifting. That doesn't include any other type of exercise. Along with that, something that a lot of people don't know is that your body can really only be designed for one thing at a time. So you'll never see a 100-meter sprinter running the 2 mile. It doesn't happen very often because the type of workouts and body building, body types that you need for those two are so different that when you do one, it takes away from the other. So if you are looking to increase your muscle mass, specifically strengthening and things like that, you don't want to do long amounts of low intensity cardio. Now you can do HIIT training, sprint type stuff, that's better. You can do circuit training, that's better. But you don't want to do low intensity steady state cardio, which is the word for like getting on the treadmill for an hour. It'll take away from your gains because your body's like, oh, I don't need muscle to do this, you know? So it actually burns your muscle for that. So as always, there are exceptions to everything that I just said, and it is way more complicated than how I just broke it down, but that is the basics of weightlifting. Now, there's so many things you can do with this. So many different ways that you can make a program, different types of programs that you can do, different types of workouts. You can do circuit training, you can do CrossFit training, which is circuit training. You can do, there's something called animal flow, different ways that you can periodize, that everything is so different. But the basics are, start with endurance training when you begin your program. Probably stick to hypertrophy training. Somewhere in the 8 to 12 rep, 8 to 15 rep range is going to be good for most people, for most types of lifting. So if you really don't know what to do, go with that and you'll be okay. Always end your sets tired. You never want that last rep to be easy. Add weight if it is, or add reps if you can't add weight. I know my gym doesn't have half weights. It has like 10 and 15 and not 12 and a half. So if you can't add weight, like if going up to the next weight is too much, do one more rep, do 2 more reps. That's going to be better for you in the long run than just not finishing or just not being tired at the end. The other thing is that I really recommend starting with low weight and making sure that your form is always good, because you can get hurt, and because if your form isn't good, you're not doing what you wanted to do. So if my form is really bad and I'm doing a shoulder press, but I'm actually like this, I'm not working my shoulders, I'm working my chest. So you want to make sure that your form is good, because that's how you're going to get the results that you want. If you're using bad form, you're working the wrong muscles, you could get hurt, etc. Always warm up before you lift. Another good thing about endurance type training is that it's kind of like a warm up included, because you're never lifting that heavy weight. But if you are lifting heavier weights, do one set of like low weight 20 rep, 15 rep before you go into your heavy sets. So hopefully you guys learned something about this. I'm gonna make sure I include some graphics in here, some numbers, things like that in this talk to make it a little bit more easy, a little bit more entertaining to watch. But this is something I'm super passionate about. Don't forget to leave down below any topic that you want me to talk about next. If you want me to go more in depth on anything in here, I would love to. If you have any questions, please leave them down below. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. I'm really loving talking about like fitness. I'm just so passionate about it. I have been my whole life, and I really like talking about it, and I hope that you guys are enjoying these videos as much as I am. So I will leave a link to my past video. I'll just leave a link to the intro, really. That'll be like what's in every video. But I also, at the end of this video, wanted to give you a little physique update, because I don't just want to talk to you guys about fitness. I kind of want to take you guys on this journey with me. So as I said in the intro video, I am in a cut phase. So I'm trying to lose fat and keep my muscle mass. So I'm losing weight. Technically it's like a diet, but it's very specific. And I have lost 4 pounds since the start of this cut, which is pretty good because it's only been 2 weeks. And I feel so much better. I will put in here a little clip of my physique right now. I am wearing like a shirt, so you can't see my back, but maybe I'll take a different one. My arms are starting to lean out a little bit. You can see this line right here. My abs are kind of coming in, and my stomach is a little bit smaller, and all my muscles are just popping out a little bit more. As you lose fat, you start to see more muscle definition, which is so exciting. So I'm really loving it. It's kind of getting more difficult now that I'm a couple weeks in. It's a little bit harder to eat healthy consistently. I'm wanting to cheat more often, but because I'm counting my macros, I have found that it's actually really not that hard. The hardest part for me is getting all of my protein, which I knew it would be. I don't like protein. But I will go over all that in another video. But I just wanted to tell you guys my update. It's hard. I miss chocolate. I miss cheese and bread, but I'm doing it and I'm loving the results. And hopefully you guys can see in the update kind of what my results are. I started off at 143 pounds and I'm down to 139.4. So I'm happy. Again, I hope that you guys are enjoying this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll talk to you guys next time.